Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Float About It Friday, where we get together and talk about float stuff. I'm Beth Jones, owner of Float Spa X Wellness Centers, and today we're going to talk about the learning curve to nothing. That sounds like a completely ridiculous phrase, doesn't it? How do you have to learn to do nothing? Well, in our modern society, we are digitally overstimulated, we are hyper-scheduled, we're busy, our sleep schedules are a disaster, we're stressed, we're constantly in work mode. There's a lot going on all the time. So when we take all of those things away, it's difficult to relearn that state of calm and that relaxation response that at one time came very naturally to all of us. So it takes a minute to learn how to relax again. So over the course of your first float, the first 15 or so minutes, you're going to experience kind of a brain dump, for lack of better terms. You're going to get in there and your brain is just going to start reminding you about all kinds of things. It's probably going to remind you of some things you need at the grocery store. It may remind you of something that happened in 4th grade. It may remind you of your 6th grade neighbor's guinea pig. The possibilities are endless. You will be surprised at what is in your brain that you can remember and recall. So if you've only ever floated one time, you have floated. You know what it is. You have no idea what it does. It's really not until the 3rd float that across the board, we all let go and stop trying to control the experience. So again, at first float, you've got that 15-minute brain dump, which, to be fair, happens from time to time. Happens to me. I've got a lot of irons in the fire all the time. So even still, after hundreds of floats, I'll get in the float tank and have some of those moments. But it's great because your brain's just processing things that it hasn't ever had the opportunity to process. So all you have to do is embrace that and wait for it to let you go and get into that deep meditative state. So the first float, we're learning. We're learning what float is. The second float, you're gonna settle into your float faster because your body and brain know what to expect. You're used to the process. You know when to get in and when to get out. You know that we'll tell you when to get out. You're not just gonna stay in there all day and not have any idea what's going on in the outside world. And then the third float is when you'll get in and truly let go and let the float tank do what it does, which is control that relaxation response, balance your nervous system, reset your sleep cycles, start to create this innate feeling of calm that you can carry with you for days and weeks and months, depending on what you have going on in your life. But it's not until we get to that space, it's not until we get to that third float that we really truly begin to understand the power of what float can do. And that's really, even that third float is just scratching the surface, right? There are many of us in the world that float multiple times a week or float every day in a float tank at home or in a home practice. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason that people can do it every day or weekly or multiple times a week. And that's because the depth that we can get to know ourselves, the depth at which we can process what's going on in our lives, the depth at which we can heal from past stuff, it's all there. And it's all there waiting for you to unlock it. And you can't unlock that in 60 minutes in your first session. So this is what I'm talking about, that there's a learning curve to nothing. We have to be willing to try it at least 3 times before we truly understand what it even actually does, right? So we hope if you've come in one time, we hope you'll come in again and give it a go, now knowing what float is and begin to learn what it does. We're also, if you haven't heard yet, we're developing a 6 weeks to stress relief program. As I'm filming this, we're in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. There's a lot of fear, energy, and stress circulating in the universe right now for 100 million reasons. And so we're putting together a program that will combine the power of float and learning all of that we were just talking about with online course modules. There's only one a week. They're super short, just to introduce you to some steps and some plans that you can start to use at home so that you have stress beating strategies when you can't get in a float tank all the time. Because I know life is busy, I get it. We hope to see you very soon. You can schedule, book online, floatspa.sf.com, or visit us at FloatSpaX to see all of our locations. Thank you. Have a powerful, incredible, brilliant week. We'll see you soon.